right? And like every other chapter, Matthew starts with a quote, an Egyptian quote. And this one says, do not let worry flourish, lest you become distraught, right? That you become unnecessarily agitated when you give place to worry, right? If you give place to worry, it's going to take a hold of you, right? And let me just take a second to welcome Han. And how are you doing?
I'm good. Good morning. Good afternoon.
Good morning. Good afternoon. Yeah. Thanks for making it. It sure makes a difference when I have someone online. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks. All right. So just starting with chapter 18 here. And it says, the quote that starts the chapter says, do not let worry flourish, right? So it means that we do have a control over worry, right? As Christians, we know that the worry is not of God. We have several parts in scripture that tells us not to worry, right? Jesus will say, don't take thought of what you're going to eat or drink, all of that, because God in heaven has all of that taken care of, right? Then what we'll find out is there's a difference between worry and concern, right? It all depends on what you're focusing on, right? Don't worry. It doesn't say don't be concerned, right? When you're concerned, you're looking at the solution. When you're worried, you're looking at the problem, right? Whether it's a worry or concern is a function of what you're focused on, right? And what you're focused on will take over you. If you focus on worry enough, it will lead to depression. It will become your master. It will become your Lord. I will give birth to everything that comes with worry. You focus on the solution, you will have faith arise inside of you. You will have the solution that you seek. You have light, right? Worry brings darkness. Focusing on the solution brings light, right? And all of that is important because it stirs the emotion inside of us that would either help us or hinder us in being able to earn money, right? I'm just going to look at a few quotes here that talks about worry as a whole, just look at it generally from different angles. Leo Boscagli says the word, worry never robs tomorrow of its sorrow, but it saps today of its joy, right? So when we worry, we lose on every side, right? It doesn't solve tomorrow's problem. It doesn't erase the mistake of yesterday and just makes a mess of today. So we're a loser on all sides, right? We lost yesterday, we're losing tomorrow, and we're losing today, right? That's what worry does to us, right? Dean Smith says that if you treat every situation as a life or death matter, right, you're gonna die several times, right? Life is not, it's not a do or die. It's not a this must happen, this must not happen. If you live your life like that, I mean, you're never going to enjoy life. We're here to enjoy life. We're here to be happy. We're not here to be always on the edge. I mean, you're not going to get the best out of life if that's the way you take life, right? Life is meant to be mastered, right? It's not meant to be followed, right? We're here to master life. We're here to master the art of living, right? Not just to be a follower, not to be mastered as it were, but to master. We're here to master, not to be mastered. We're here to conquer, not to be subdued. We're here to have dominion and occupy, right? Take territories, right? Not to be overcome, right? And whether we do that or not, whether we fulfill the intent of our creation or why we're here, is a function of what we focus on, right? It's a function of the emotions that we're allowed to be stirred up on the inside of us, right? So I'm going to jump all the other definitions here, but key thing just looking at just that if you stir up negative emotions, you're going to get negative results. If you stir up positive emotions, you're going to get positive results. Worry is a negative emotion, right? That's why God says, don't worry, don't be anxious, because worry will not solve your problem. Anxiety will not solve your problem. It only makes it bigger, right? It only makes it bigger, never makes it smaller, right? So you're not going to become better. You're not going to grow taller, shorter because you're worried, right? And worry comes to us in different ways, right? I remember as I was growing up, my early 20s, I started being too conscious about my height, right? I felt I was short, right? Even though I was taller than probably a good number of people around me, but for whatever reason, I was conscious of my height, such that I was working with my shoulders raised up, more like, in somewhere in my subconsciousness, right? It was that I needed to be tall to be a man, right? I was having a feeling I was too short to be a man. I wasn't feeling like a man, right? It was like I was shorter than I should be. Yeah, a lot of people say to me, right, since I don't see myself, right, that I'm not too tall, I'm not short. I believe I am 5'11", not on short, right? So, but you see, that thought overcame me, such that it affected the way I related with people around me. So much so, someone I was close to noticed it, right? But you see, worry got me on the wrong track, and that happens to us, just things that have no bearing, at all. Similarly, takes us to a place where we're chasing things that have no substance, right? And we spend our time doing things we should not do, unproductive, right? And therefore, we don't have time to be productive, right? And anything you want to share along that line, anything, issue you've had with worry, that you've been chasing the rabbit in the wrong hole.
Well, I've always had a problem with worry. I worry about everything, but therapy has helped me not to, because you lose control when you worry, right?
Absolutely.
So therapy has helped me not, know that, I don't, the way I see it is like, I don't have any. Why am I worrying? Because I don't have any information. The information that I have is what I have right now. So if I'm worrying about tomorrow, I don't have the information about tomorrow.
Yeah.
So because I worry a lot, I worry about everything, and so I know that it's not healthy.
Absolutely.
But you lose control. Like you say, you're concerned about something, but worrying, you lose control. You lose control about life in general. I guess I think you don't have control. You don't give yourself the ability to think through what is going on and find a solution, because you're worrying about what you cannot control. And that, I think as humans, we like to be in control, and the biggest thing is when we're not able to be in control is when we start worrying and being overly concerned about stuff. So we can't be in control always.
Yes.
Only God is in control. And so,
absolutely.
I'm a work in progress. I'm not there yet, but I feel like I'm a much better person than I was maybe last year.
Absolutely.
I'm still a work in progress, because that's naturally my inclination, is to start to immediately start. It's natural who I am. But I feel that in order for me to be better, I need to break that natural cycle. I need to drag myself back and tell myself, and you only have the information that you have right now. You don't have the information for tomorrow. What will the worry do? Like one of the quotes, like the first one says, "Worry saps it saps today's joy, but it never robs tomorrow's sorrow." Right, and it's true. That's really perfect. That's a perfect thing. It just saps your joy for today.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true. That's what leads to depression. That's what leads to mental sickness, right?
Right.
Because it keeps your mind on overdrive.
Right.
You're thinking about the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again, such that your mind circle gets tired, it gets worn out, right?
Right.
Because
Right.
the natural way God designed our mind is that once we see anything, right,
Right.
our mind quickly runs back to our storage or to compare, because we're always interpreting everything we see.
Right.
So
Right.
I go to a place and I see blue. My mind quickly runs back to look
Right.
at my record. What does blue mean? Is there a special meaning to blue in my life? Oh, blue is what? Blue is this. What does it gets that information from the record, comes and interprets it and decides on a decision what to do with blue. Right?
Right.
That is when the mind is efficiently working. That's the way God designed our mind to work. That everything we see, we quickly go to the old record. How do we define this? What does this mean to us? We get that definition, decide the action, right?
Right.
That's the way. When the mind is working well, that takes incredibly small, minor seconds to happen that you don't even know that it's happening, right? So when the mind is in its proper state. But when the mind is tired, when it has been overworked, that takes longer, right? That's when people then get confused, they get blank, right? You say that person is mentally sick, right? And there are different levels of that, right? So, you know, and that's why, you know, sometimes you see some things, right? And you get stuck. Sometimes you just see some things and you're stuck. You know, we used to define it as, you know, like when someone finds a wife to be, right? Something just happens. You know, you get overwhelmed by what you're seeing at that point in time. You know, what is truly happening is that your mind has seen that thing, and something about that thing, when it goes back to the record, says this is special. You might not understand at that point in time why that thing is special, but there was just something in the record of your mind, in your subconsciousness, that says this is not like every other, this person is not like every other person I've seen. Right? So you almost get blank. Something just records that this is not what's happening at that point in time. Is whatever about that person, you know, either resembles your mother, your sister, or something you're looking for. That and you're not, so you feel a sense of seeming lost or overwhelmed, or you are drawn to that thing. You are like if we're stayed on that thing. You know, we used to joke about that. We say heaven came down and glory filled my heart or filled my soul, right? When such happens, right? We also have what we call deja vus, right? Where you are seeing something, somewhere you know you've seen this thing somewhere before, but you just couldn't recollect it at that point in time, right? It might be that you've seen it in your dream before, and now you're seeing it in reality, or just something somewhere just says, I've been here before. you know, just talking about different states of the mind, right? But basically, the mind's healthy state is that all of those interpretations take place in sort a very minor, nano milliseconds that you don't know is taking place, that the mind is just interpreting and telling you what to do next. But when you overwork the mind, that time increases. Then you say someone is mentally sick, right? So worry leads to mental sickness. In short, is all we're saying. You know, when you allow worry in your life, you are reducing the ability of your mind to function, right? And that would affect your ability to make the right decisions in any money, right? So we want to stay away from that as much as possible. It's not necessarily easy because it is a natural tendency for us, especially because based on how we grew up, you know, what happened in our family sector we grew in, where the family falls in the economic scale, what surrounded us. All of that affects us, you know, and determines our tendency or propensity to worry. right? But the key thing is that we can do something about it. It's not about solving it in just 1 second. It's that we continuously work at it, right? There's always going to be a tendency to worry, but we need to just continue to master it, which is what, like you said, you're on that journey, and it's, as long as we're here, we're always going to have somebody that wants to make us to worry, right? It's just all about understanding that weakness, that potential, and knowing what to do to keep it at bay. I mean, that's what's important. Are we together on that?
Yes.
All right. So